Alright guys, welcome back to the course. So now let's start the development from scratch now. So we'll be looking at how we can achieve this together. So the first thing I'll be doing is going to my file explorer here. Yes, I'll just click on your file explorer. So I would go to Visual Studio Code first. So I already had Visual Studio Code, my desktop here. So I'll right click, open. So regardless of any kind of screen you have, you understand? So the first thing you need to do first is that you click on the file because we want to start this together from scratch. So we click on the file, click on the new window, right? Click on it. So then close the first one you opened. So click on this to open, make it bigger. So then click on the file explorer here, the icon here. So click on open folder. So go to your desktop. So inside the web development folder, right? So to make things easier, actually, we can actually create another folder here. Create another folder inside here, inside the desktop. So I'll call it. So just right click on inside. Just right click on new folder, then click. Just type portfolio. Portfolio. As simple as that. So click on enter, then click on select folder. Make sure you select it. Yes, and you can see the moment you select it, you see that it brings the highlight on the folder. So just click on portfolio, click on select folder. Alright, so the moment you open, most times when you open a new window, you understand, it happens in the current release of Visual Studio Code. So they are trying to like manage users opening, you understand, folders, you understand, for security purpose. You see this icon. So this icon might, this blue background you see here might restrict you on something. So just click on manage. So let's make sure this folder is trusted by us. Click on it, then close this back. Alright, so now how do we start this project? So the first thing is that for any project you'll be working on, you understand, any project, no matter how small, big the project is what we call file structure, which is what we're looking at in this module. So file structure is basically how do you organize your folder? How do you organize your files? You understand? So looking at what we have in our portfolio, you understand, realize there are a lot of content. You understand? Not much, but there are some contents we need to organize. So if you look at what we have, of course, HTML handles the content. I mean the text, images. You understand? We don't have any video here. You understand? Just pretty much text and images. So we need to organize our files. So what I will do here is that I'm going back to the Visual Studio Code. So I would click on the first file I will create is HTML file. So I'll say index.html, right? So after creating this file, you understand, I'll just leave it empty for now. So then I'll click on the folder here. Click on the folder. Let me zoom this a bit. Click on the folder here, right? So then click on CSS. Let's create a CSS folder. So CSS folder. Then after that, let's create what? A JS folder. So are we done? We still want to output our images because most of the contents we have here, let's go back to your browser again. So most of the contents we have here is the images. So I would go back to my Visual Studio Code, right? So I'll go back to my view and create another folder for images. Images, I'll say images, click on enter. So now let's start. Is that all we need? We still need the CSS file. So I'll just click on, make sure you select the CSS folder is selected. When you meant to select any file or any folder, it's going to highlight the blue background, right? You can see it here. So it will tell you that, oh, when you click on it, it will change the drop down here to like open, as if you want to open the folder. So click on this file icon. Make sure it's highlighted now. So just say style.html. style.css. So go back to the HTML file. So let's start. Is that what we need? We still need this JavaScript file. You see, we're adding some JavaScript to make it interactive. So let's make sure you click on the word JS folder again. Click on what? The file icon, then type what? Scripts.js. Scripts.js. That's the JavaScript file. Alright, so we are done with the creation of the file now. So now let's go to the HTML file. So like we already know that in our HTML file, the first thing we need to render is what? Is the HTML boilerplate. HTML boilerplate. So remember, how do we do this? We use our what? Our shift one. What are we trying to do? We are trying to generate the exclamation mark, which is what the Visual Studio Code understood to to generate our simple boilerplate. Instead of you typing that, we use what? Shift one. So just type Shift one to generate the exclamation mark. Mind you, your keyboard might have different keys that holds the exclamation mark. So just check through your keyboard and generate that. So just press enter. Alright, so now we have the boilerplate generated. Boilerplate generated. So we can start writing our codes now. Alright guys, thank you for joining me in this lesson. Keep practicing and I will see you in the next one. Before you go, don't forget to follow us on our social media platform, Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a new lesson. See you next time and happy coding.